Welcome, you have reached Imperial Reviews, and today's review is Blink Twice. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let's get into it. So this was a film that I launched a trailer on a few months ago, and it didn't pick up that much traction, and then when this movie came out, it just came out. But it was a decent movie altogether though. So let's go over the cast. We got Naomi Aki plays as Frida. Shannon Tatum plays as Slater. Christian Slater plays as Vic. Alicia Shawkat plays as Jess. Simon Rex plays as Cody. Adria Arjona plays as Sarah. Liz Carabell plays as Camellia. Haley Joel Osment plays as Tom. That's the kid from the movie Sixth Sense. And Levin Hawk plays as Lucas. True Mullen plays as Heather. Kyle MacLachlan plays as Rich. Gina Davis from Beetlejuice Part 1, which Beetlejuice Part 2 comes out in about a week from now, plays as Stacy. Chris Kosa plays as Stan, ex-Marine. And that's pretty much it. Anybody that's know the Soul Williams plays as the MC. He only got like 2 shots at the beginning and towards the end. So let's get into the movie. So you got Frida, who she does annual thing, nail artist, and she works as a cocktail waitress at an exclusive event with her friend Jess. And of course, you know, these events, you got billionaires and stuff like that, and women want to live that life. And you know what I'm saying, they might have the look and everything, but don't, you know, these men got money on top of money, and the women wants to impress the men so the men can invite them out and to a lavish party or a lavish event. And so Slater, played by Shannon Tatum, he recently stepped down from his business. He's in the tech world, and he went and got like an island, and he's trying to rebrand and make apology for the wrong he's done or what he's been accused of. So Frida's at this event, and she runs into somebody and she falls, and Slater comes and helps her up, and from there it just take off. They mingle. You see some of the characters that's going to be out throughout the movie at this event. Needless to say, Jess and Frida end up over on the island where Slater is and his friends. And so instantly it looks like the life. They spoil the women with special perfume, and the woman thinks it smells luxurious and everything like that. But what it is this perfume is like a drug that keeps them in a zombie state, in a sense, and they forget about everything that took place previously, and so they just all be robotic. And so while Frida's there, she sees one of the workers on the compound on the island, and the worker's smiling at her, and she don't know, she thinks she's just being nice. So as days go by, they keep taking this halogenic drug, and what it is keeping them, in a sense, doped up, and they don't remember anything, but they wind up with like different bruises on them and don't know where the bruises come from. So as days go on, what eventually happened is Jess, which is the friend of Frida, she gets bitten by a snake. Now, when I said one of the workers had recognized Frida, and smiled at her. They seen her when she had caught a snake or whatever. So when Jess got bit by a snake, she was hysterical. They said, "You'll be fine, you'll be fine," and it showed Slater killed a snake. But what started to happen with Jess is she started to remember some things that was taking place while they were at this island. And she started telling Frida, like, "Hey man, this is, something's not right, things is going on, we can't remember." So Frida's not picking up what she's putting down, and basically like, I'm back at home, I'm a struggling nail artist, cocktail waitress. I need this. I need to, I need to get in a different life. Basically don't mess this up for me. So she said that you never see Frida again. You never see Jess again. So what eventually happened is one of the times where Frida ended up not taking the perfume stuff that they were, and she started wearing down, and she ended up where the chicken coops was, and the lady, one of the workers that knew her, and the worker said, Red Robin, Red Robin. She wondered, like, what are you talking about, Red Robin? So she doesn't really understand the language that the lady's saying, but she said Red Robin, and she gives her this concoction, and Frida thinking, well, hey, why not? I take some. They just there to have fun and drink. She took it. It was nasty, and she said, "What's this?" And basically, it was venom from the snake that they form into a concoction. What it does is it takes the hallucinogenic drug off, where they can start thinking normal. So Frida, now everything started coming to her, and then she was saying, "Hey, yo, what's up with Jess?" And everybody looking at her like, "What do you mean, what's up with Jess? Who's Jess? Who's that?" They like, "For real, you don't know? That's my friend I came with." And then she started breaking down like, so then she just stopped and said, "Hold on, am I tripping? Didn't I come here with a friend?" And so one of the girls came and gave her a lighter that had Jess on the back. So they basically like, "Oh, you tripping? Here's your friend, the lighter." So one of the girls there was a survivor, like from a cast of the Survivor series, and she started to wear down too. So then she came to Frida. Her and Frida had like a heart-to-heart talk, and she was like, "Okay, I'm with you." She was starting to wear down off of not having the perfume that keeps them up and stuff like that. So Frida gave her some of the concoction that the woman had, and when she gave that to this survivor, and when she gave it to her, her name was Sarah, so she started to wear down, and now she started to remember things like, "Yo, what's going on? Like, we need help. We need to get the rest of the girls on board to give them, let them know what's going on." And they started remembering the things that was done to them. So they said, "How do we get these other girls on board?" So they said shots. So the other two girls that was there started feeding them shots with the tequila. And the girls, it was nasty, but the girls still drunk it. Meanwhile, Frida, Sarah was giving them to the other two girls. Frida entered into the house, to the mansion part, trying to find their phones so they could call somebody. So while trying to find phones, one of Slater's friends, played by Christian Slater, named Vic, he used to take pictures the whole time and everything. He had a missing pinky finger. You later find out his pinky finger became missing from Frida. So nevertheless, she found all these pictures of them with the bags, the red bags, and giving people the perfume that was on the island, and that it's a hallucinogenic drug. So when that took place, their call was Sarah would yell out and scream to warn Frida that Slater was coming into the house. So he made it to the house and she screamed and she finally heard her, but she was hiding underneath his desk. And meanwhile, Slater's like his secretary, played by Gina Davis, pretty much she was on board. So they made her drink the hallucinant, the antidote for the venom. They made her drink that as well. And so they thinking that's going to help change her. So what happens is while Frida's in his office hiding, her nose started to bleed. And she really started to remember everything. She remembered when she watched her friend Jess get killed. Because Jess knew everything. And also she remembered when Slater's doctor was over top of her, and pretty much he told her that come the next day with this drug we got, she won't remember anything. And so what Slater did, he smoked vape, and by him smoking vape, Frida knew that. So she slipped something in his vape, but he didn't know that yet. So she went eventually back to the party, and so her and Frida and Sarah said, we gotta play along with everything until the girls, it kicked in for them. So it kicked in for Sarah. That's she was on the survivor show, so her nose started bleeding, and she really started to remember. And so one of Slater's friends that was the cook, he came up on her. She just turned around and elbowed him, busted him in the nose, broke his nose, and then she tried to play it off like, oh, my fault, my reflexes or whatever. And so she was trying to play it off while they were at dinner. Frida was trying to play it off, but they were crumbling because these men was torturing them. So what would happen is, because the woman is under drugs, after hours, the men would torture these women, abuse them, and a whole bunch of heinous acts. And when they wake up, they just have bruises on. They don't know what happened. So they keep them drugged up so they don't remember what took place. Frida remembered she was there on the island a year ago. The reason why the worker called her Red Robin, because she was a survivor, and she had Red Robin on her fingernails. So that's why the worker kept saying Red Robin, or whatever. So now all the girls started to wear off, and while they wore off right in the middle while the guys was partying and stuff, and then when they remember like what took place, so one of the girls, she instantly she sliced her abuser's throat from the gate. They were out off dancing, and she went Tom, played by Haley Joel Osment, she sliced his throat, and that was Camellia. And then after she sliced his throat, there was a tech guy up there he didn't harm the girl, so they didn't bother him at first. His name was Lucas. So when they started going on a rampage on the men, Tom got his throat cut, and then Vic, who was taking pictures, pretty much Heather, he abused Heather. She clocked him, started bashing his face in with a piece of stone, cracking his jaw. But what happened with him, she got shot by the Navy SEAL. So once she got shot by the Navy SEAL, Slater came and grabbed Camellia, pinned her down, and pretty much after he pinned her down, he pulled her into the mansion. Meanwhile, Navy SEAL chased Frida. When he had Frida did the right with the gun, Sarah came behind him, clunked him in the head, then smashed him with the brick, and Sarah took the gun. So they said, we head into the mansion. So they ran into Slater's like I said, his secretary, played by Gina Davis. He ran into her, and Frida and her, Stacy, started to have a fight, and Frida was like, she was in on everything. So the sober version of herself was with the scheme the whole time. She was helped them recruit the women. And so she pretty much was saying, well, after Frida stabbed her, she said, help me. And then Frida said, I tried to. That's why I give you the shot, the antidote, so let whatever drug they had you on wear off. But see, the drugs helped her not have a conscience of what she was doing and just go along with everything. And so, but the normal version of her was, she was with everything. So, nevertheless, you're down to Slater. They killed Lucas, shot him in the head, and then there was a big battle between Slater and Frida, and he got, Sarah had the gun, but she ran out of bullets, so he had her, both of them did the right, and he could have killed them, but he kept smoking the vape, and so by him smoking the vape, he no longer had the ability to forget what he'd been doing. Now, he was abused too. He was abused by his doctor or whatever, so he was abused as well. So by him not no longer remembering, I mean, now he remembered he was abused, he didn't kill Sarah. And so he was just stumbling, looking over everybody like, what's going on? Like, he's seeing all his friends dead, and he's tripping, looking at everything like, what happened? He seen Camellia, she was dead because he killed her after he had her tied up. Like, and he's tripping, so what eventually happened, he tripped, fell, and clunked his head, knocked himself out. And Frida pretty much said she had put the stuff in his vape, and it made him forget everything. And so she ended up marrying him. Like, so fast forward, she ended up marrying him and kept him on the drugs. And so when she married him, kept on the drugs, she had like a new form of it. It was like a wild berry, little like drops that she would use for him. And he was a vegan, but he didn't even know how to like eat steak because he was a vegan. She just like told him, eat your steak. So his doctor came up to him, pretty much was like, hey man, you know, pencil me in. And he didn't even remember who the doctor was. He didn't even know who the doctor was. And he was like, yeah. And she jumped in the conversation, pretty much said, you know, we'll be away. Basically, we'll pencil you in. And so the MC guy pretty much was, you know, to the wife, Frida, or whatever. And then he stood there and clapped for her. So she reversed the roles, took over his empire. It's an interesting movie. You're going to hear a lot of people say it has some Jeffrey Epstein vibes, Epstein Island vibes. I can see the correlation between that as well from the stories that you hear from things that was going on or happening over there. So this was, I think it was produced or directed by Zoe Kravitz. So salute to her on her. I think this is her first film doing it. But overall, it was a decent film. Is it a must watch? It's a decent watch. I wouldn't say a must watch to go out to the theaters. It's definitely stream worthy when it shows up on a streaming platform and eventually be out on HBO Max. Maybe in 45 days or so. Just tune into the streaming platform HBO Max and watch it on there. Out of my 4-star rating system, I give this movie a 2 out of 4 stars. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Till next time.